folks, how are you? My name is Wajahat Karim, and I'm very excited to be here at 360 Android Dev Conference. And I would like to thank John and Twiki for allowing me this opportunity. And I'm very happy to share about my favorite topic, Jetpack Compose. So before I delve into Jetpack Compose, let's learn a little about me. Um, I am a Google developer expert in Android. I have been working on Android for more than 8 years now, and I am also an open source contributor, and I also write technical blogs and articles on my website and Medium, and I have also co-authored two worldwide books published by PackPub, and I love to share my knowledge with others either through YouTube or through public speaking or through writing. So probably that's why I'm here, and I'm very active on Twitter. So please follow me on Twitter. Check out my website wajahatkarim.com, and I would really appreciate that. So what is it anyway? Like, what is Jetpack Compose anyway? I am very confident that you have already seen previous talks from Sean and from Vinay about Jetpack Compose, so you would already be familiar with what is it. I'll just go through some quick slides to see that what is it. It's a modern toolkit for building native Android UI. So over the years, like Android developers have faced a very big problem between bridging the gap between XML layouts and Java or Kotlin files. So usually there were third-party solutions like Button Knife to bring this more easily. Then there were some other solution from Google as well, like data binding, queue binding. So the primary goal was that how to remove ideally the gap between XML files and Java or Kotlin files. So Jetpack Compose plays a role in solving this problem. Besides other points, we'll get to that soon. So it's actually a declarative framework based on the power of Kotlin and extension functions and higher order functions. So we all love Kotlin, so this is definitely awesome, and it uses a lot less code. Like I was other day I was looking at a talk by Roman Gee last year at Google I/O about Jetpack Compose, and he was explaining how search on a recycler view brings a very lot code in our traditional approach. Like we have a normal layout, we have item layout, and we have an recycler adapter, then we have model class, then we have this whole filtering logic with a lot of more than 100 lines of code. So yeah, it's very complicated for simple stuff, but on the same side, Jetpack does all that under 100 lines of code, no item layout, no XML layouts and anything that sort. And funny enough, very surprisingly, that this is included in your actual Kotlin code. Like your data logic and your view are in the same language, are in the same file, so it's becomes a lot easier to handle the situations and the complexity which we usually face with XML layout. So it's very intuitive, like we don't need to necessarily worry about all the complex how XML will do that, how XML will do this. We just have to explain that what our UI is, and Jetpack Compose will handle the rest, and it will be very pleasant experience, and it will be very smooth, and it will be very fast. So yeah, it actually accelerates your development, as I told the recycler view example. So it's very fast, and it already uses Kotlin's concise structure, so it's a lot productive for developers, and for me at least, I have very good experience with Jetpack Compose. So yeah, and finally, it's very powerful. Like looking at how we can reuse all the small components and methods very easily. So Otherwise, we all know that only Vue class have more than 30,000 lines of code, and more constraints and more layouts as are coming up, the more Vue complexity is increasing. So uh, Jetpack Compose sort of brings the power in this way, and solves some real problems which we are facing with inheritance. So yeah, it's very powerful. And the agenda of this whole session is that I'm very sure that you have already seen other talks, and there are a couple more tomorrow about explaining further on Jetpack Compose. So I will only be focusing on two things. Number one, I'll be following the official Codelab. At the moment, or there is only one Codelab on Jetpack Compose. So I'll be following that practically, sharing my own screen, and after that I will show you a simple demo of how to create a Gmail UI. I have shared a video here, um, like you can see the video here. So yeah, so this is how this is entirely created in Jetpack Compose, and you can see that how this actually can be implemented without using any XML layouts or any complexity. And you can see that how pleasant this experience is, and I will show you that how Jetpack Compose works. So yeah, let's actually start our Codelab. You can simply go ahead and search Compose Codelab, and the first link you will see is about Codelab. So I am going to explain this on roughly, and you can read more about this here. So number one thing is that you need Android Studio Canary version for to experiment with Codelab. Like I'm using 4.2 Canary 4. This is the latest one at this time of the, and you can see that in the what's new. Was new section, you see that there is a support for Jetpack Compose. So yeah, you cannot do it in beta version, or you cannot do it in stable version. You will have to use it 4.2 version. If that is stable, then it's good. Otherwise you will have to use canary version. So you go ahead and create a new project, and from the new project wizard you select compose empty compose activity. This will make sure that you will get all the dependencies on code compose, and you will get all the uh, plugins and all settings for the to work properly in compose. I have already created a project. This is the project which you will get. I haven't done anything much new. I'll explain that. So it's starting from our build.gradle file. You will see that we will have to use at least minimum SDK of 21 to work with code compose. So I am using 22, but you should have at least minimum 21. You cannot use compose below 21. So that's the first thing. Then another thing is that you will have to add compose to and build features. If you are adding compose in any existing project, then this is how you are going to do it. Then there are compose options, and we have two things. Number one, Kotlin compiler extension for compose. I'm using compose, and then which version it is using. So remember that you will have to do the same version which your project Kotlin version is. So I'm using 1.3.70. That means that it's my extension Kotlin version actually. So yeah, also Codelab is on Dev 14, but you probably get Dev 13 in Android Studio. So please upgrade that to 14 because this API is rapidly changing. So try to use the latest version. And still there are not any API changes in between Dev 13 and Dev 14, but still it's good to use Dev 14. So yeah, that's the other thing. And then we have some dependencies about compose. So There are a couple of more dependencies, but for this Codelab we are focusing on these. Number one is layout. This is responsible for bringing common core layouting and rows, columns, and text are that's fundamental view components. And then there is material. This is the composed version of material theming and guidelines for the Android. And then we have tooling. So tooling is responsible for showing previews in Android Studio and working with compiler extensions and all the sort of stuff. So yeah, this is all we need. And then besides dependencies and structures, we get our main activity. So so this is the original code which you get from the template, and I will explain that shortly, but in Compose you can actually visualize the code runtime like as we do in XML layouts and design. So this is how actually it's being done. So you can see that I am getting a default preview. This is not as fast as Flutter's hard reload, but it's still good. So I have run the application already on my emulator, and you can see that we have hello Android there. So uh, that's the beginning actually. First three sections are all about that. So you can see that how we have created new project and all the existing stuff which we discussed. So now let's focus on the basics. So number one, compose is all about composable. So we can use the term composables, compose functions, or compose views, or composable views. These are all same thing, which means that any method, any Kotlin method which is annotated with add composable, so that is the composable. The add composable method's primary job is to render a UI and handle the UI stuff. So a composable method can call other composable methods and other non-composable methods, but you cannot call any composable method from any non-composable method. So you will have to be sure that you are calling all the composable methods from other composables. So yeah, so then you can see that we have set content. Again, this is also a composable method, and this is from activity, and this is getting to view. So we don't use set content view or set content layout or traditional method. We use set content, and we pass that what we are going with. When you create a new project in Android Studio 4.2, you will get a pre-built-in theme. You will get it in UI package. It's a theme which is being used. So this is our AnDev 360 demo theme. So usually naming convention being followed is that this is your project name theme. So yeah, we will get to the theming part later. So in the theme we are calling greeting Android. So greeting Android is a composable method which is trying text with the hello string added. So that's how this is becomes hello Android. So also you must be wondering that how is this being getting previewed. So we have created a duplicate method preview, and we have added a composable extension. This is default preview, and we have used same code which we are using in set content view. Remember that if I pass any param, um, let's param string. So I will get error that I cannot use preview in with a method which has parameters. So for the preview you will have to only manage it with no argument methods. So usually it's a duplication, but this is how it's being done for compose. So yeah, in the add preview you will have plenty of options like show background. This is trying the white background, otherwise that's not there is no background, and you will see the same gray. And you can even set the width and height, like you want to see that what kind of devices. So let's we have Samsung S4, and its width and height is 1920 by 1080. So once you refresh it, this will show you actual real Android phone, and you can actually name it like name this is Samsung 4. So I can create another one, and this is Pixel 3. uh, I can say like this is Pixel 3 preview. So yeah, hello Pixel. So you can see that I have two different previews. So uh, this is almost similar, like as we are habitual with multi previews and XML files, or trying it with different emulators. So this is how actually Pixel works. And then I have deploy preview. Deploy preview is actually will run the application. So if I click on the deploy preview, then application will only show me this method, nothing else, no functionality, and not something like that. And if I deploy it from here, then this will be a proper application run we usually do. So yeah, it's not much useful for me, at least. Maybe it can help you in some way, but I don't use it much. And also recently there was this interactive preview where you can actually interact with the elements and click on elements and all that. Still this is very early, and this is in production, but this is a very good feature, and it should be done. So yeah, so that's how where it starts actually. And yeah, so this is the interactive preview, like embedded emulator. So these are some basics about Jetpack Compose functionality. So let's dive into more details and see how actually it works. So Jetpack Compose is all about declarative UI. So I'm simply removing some stuff. I don't need even this. So yeah, so now we are here, and now let's see that how it actually works. So for example, I want to add a color into this. So add a background color into this. So if I want to add any background color into this, then I have a surface. So when I do surface, then surface child is actually text, and I can actually provide the surface color by color dot yellow. So once I refresh it, then it will be yellow color and the white text. So now this will be ignored, like we already have a background yellow, so there will not be any white background. So this white background is from show background equal to true. So as I said that this is not as fast as other framework, but yeah, this is good. Usually I try to run the application directly. So once we are done with it, then I'll run it. So see, we have a yellow background. So if I want to add a padding, then I have a very powerful modifier. So modifier is a lot of things. It actually modifies the original view. it actually modifies the original component. So you can do a lot of stuff with modifier, like you can set sizes, you can set a padding, you can set a spacing, margins, or you can set a shapes and a lot of stuff. So let's start from modifier dot padding. So I have two kinds of padding, that all and inner all and start, left, top, right. So let's start by all. So uh, there is an extension method for TP and SP. So it's on number, so you can directly convert it from integer to number. So 10.dp means 10 dp. So yeah, it's very descriptive and it's very readable. So now you will see that we will get actual padding in this whole box. So as you can see that we have added a padding, and you are like, wow, this is not the whole yellow. I need the whole yellow. So of course you can do it. You can simply add the modifier in the text instead of surface. So again, I told you that modifier is all the things which actually modify the component. So now you will get an internal padding as we do in text view, just like normal. Surface is sort of a container which works with shapes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, surface is like a view group, you can see. See, we have now yellow text. Can also apply the style here, like I can do like text style, and I can select color is red, and this will make the text color red. Awesome thing about compose is that you can actually read all about the parameters of the current views, like what is text asking for, and if I want to apply a text style, then what are the text style attributes and what can I do with it. And there is a very detailed enough detailed guidelines about all these, so it's very easy to work with, even you don't have any good internet resources, or you can simply go ahead and play around with it. So I want to create a list about this, so let's see. I'm writing another at composable, and we can name it like this is the list screen, and I have like for a vertical list I can use a column. So column is what you can do for linear layout vertically. So I will do greeting, and this is Android, then greeting, and this is Kotlin. So for the preview, I directly call this in our preview instead of greeting. So yes, once I refresh it, then it will update it. So see, now we have hello Android, hello Kotlin, and we can do more stuff with it, like we can add borders around, we can add spaces, and we can add different rows, and we can do more like layouts. Like for example, we can see that the number one item is greater because its text is more, and below item is less because its text is less. So we can assign the like full width. So every column has modifier of uh, we can assign a modifier with this column will take whole width. So now this will be assigned to whole width. So you can see that the column has taken the whole space, but text is not taking the whole space. So it's all about if we set it in the like in the text. So for example, there is already padding, so we can actually do it double side. Like either we can use uh, max width, or we can directly call this on this max width. So ordering is very important here, and this is like first it will try to assign the spacing, then it will padding, and then it will increase its size to spacing. So actually, yeah, so if we refresh it now, let's see what we get. See, now it's our whole space, and this text is taken padding plus maximum width. So this is how we can actually work with it. Like we can do very good stuff. We can follow this in our Gmail UI demo and see how it's done. For the Codelab, we saw that how columns are being added and how columns are getting viewed. So yeah, that's how it's done, and then we follow it in the state. So state is very important for Android, as you are all aware of it, that state handling is very complicated because of the very complex structure of life cycle in Android, that like we never know that what kind of state user is. Either he is attending some call, or he is on um, split screen, or he, so handling the application in that way is very important. Compose allows us to do with one state. For example, let's create a simple counter demo here, which is in Codelab. So I'm going to add another composable, and let's make it counter, and I have so if I want to add a state, so I can simply make it like this is counter state, and we have state parameters, and we can simply use that. So I will put an initial value, and compose will pick the type from there. So for example, I say that initial count is 0. So now whatever text view I can add, for example, let's add text. Okay, so text equal to count state. So count state is sort of observable, so we have to manually extract the value from it. So count is, so this is text. Now this text is using this count state. So whenever this count state value is changed, then this will be automatically changed. So we can add a counter in our original list screen, and see that what happens. So you see, we have counted 0. Now if we somehow change this value and increase this, then this text will be automatically updated. So for example, let's try it here, that I am changing this button. So I am changing this to button, and by default we have an on-click listener. So for now it's empty, and then I will have to assign the body. So I can simply go ahead and put this text inside. So this will be a button around the text and the power of declarative framework. And in the on click I simply increase the value of count plus plus. So you see that I haven't done anything else, and for to try this I will have to actually run the application. So let's add the list screen in the content view and run the application. So we are running, and here we go. So now you can see when I click the button, it will increase the value of count state, and in return this view, our text view, is actually dependent on the count state, so it will automatically pick it up and update itself. So you can see that I haven't updated the UI manually, but UI is all reactive, like state is actually observable sort of. So you only have to update the UI, you only have to update the data, and UI will reflect it automatically. This is something you cannot do in XML, especially and easily. So this is a very good feature in Jetpack Compose. So this whole section, state and compose, is all about how this counter is being used and how you can do it. A source of the truth is actually that state can be useful, but you should be very careful that you update state from one one part of the code, and that will be the source of the truth, and the whole UI of the application will be dependent on that source. And there are some examples where state is not export. For example, in scroller, scroller position is export, but max position is not export because it's being used internally for scroller. So this is how you can manage it, and this is a very good example. So let's move to next part, and it's about flexible layouts. So flexibility means that what kind of stuff we can actually do, and what kind of layout we can actually create. So for example, we have to move our button below the layout on the screen, then we can very easily do it. Like we will start from column. So column has fill maximum width, so instead I will say that this should include both width and height, so that means maximum size. And then I will have to also uh, indicate that how the elements will be horizontally aligned. So I'll say let's align them at the start as they are. So be very careful that if I am using alignment, horizontal alignment, then I can only use the elements with alignment dot horizontal, like this or this, but I cannot use alignment dot vertical or that sort of. So I can make it like a dot, so every element will be on the left side of the application, and for the vertical arrangement we will get to that later in a better example. So yeah, so now this column is taking the whole space, but uh, we will still see the same thing because we haven't indicated that how these other parts will be actually handled. So we can easily do it. For example, the second one, let's say the first one is Android, is rep content, and another one is rep content for now, but we want to fill out the whole space. So again, modifiers are the on the relief. So yeah, so let's see, we can actually uh, so if once we set the horizontal gravity, then all the elements will be at the start of the list, and now we have to push this whole button to the bottom of the screen. So let's simply move this all the list of items in column. So yeah, so these both are in the column, and we indicate in this column that this will be fill parent. Like fill parent is like modifier dot weight. So weight 1f. So weight 1f means that this will take as much space necessary as it can. Then at the end of the screen we will see a counter. So let's play. So see, this column has taken the whole space, although there are not enough elements inside it, so it's okay. And then we have our button. So this is how the flexible layouts are getting along. We will see a good example of it in our Gmail UI demo, and once you read that, you can understand that how this actually works. So this is whole example, and finally we are on the theming. So Android Studio has provided us a basic theme. This is almost similar to we have dark color, we have light color, and these are the colors. So these are in the color theme. So instead of XML, everything is in Kotlin files now. So this is our purple 200, purple 500, exactly as we do in material themes, and we have these color palettes. So this is dark and this is light, and there is a extension function built in the Kotlin compose. So that detects that whether this is system dark mode or not. So we can assign the colors accordingly. So we have AnDev 360 theme, and that is checking that whether system is by default in dark or not, and then we have then colors are being selected accordingly. So if the emulator is in the dark theme, then this whole will be in the dark theme. And then we have a material theme. This is a base class, and this is this makes sure that app is using the material theme. So we are assigning color, typography, shapes, and content exactly the way as we do with XML. So in shapes we have rounded color shape, and in themes we have in color, and in type we have fonts. So what is body 1, what is h1, what is h2, and that kind of style. So these all are being followed, and then we can simply use it in our code like this. So again, we can use it like simply we do it as a style. So instead this will be like and 360 theme. So, this will be implemented like material theme dot typography dot h1. So yeah, let's assign this group thing. See what happens. So I am removing this style and assigning it here, and now you see how things behave. So this is running on the emulator, and see this is now all h1. So heading 1. So this is just like the way this is done in the XML layout. Only difference is that this is now in Kotlin, and Kotlin is beautiful, Kotlin is concise, Kotlin is more awesome than XML. So yeah, it's a very good experience. So once we are that, so you can actually change the theme accordingly, and once you read this you will understand it better. So there are some talks on about compose, so you can learn about those, and remember that compose is still in dev preview, so it's changing rapidly. I've seen some classes in dev 11, there are not anymore in dev 14, so they have been deprecated and things like that. So that's what I mean. And I also there is a good example of get new code sample by the Google. It's actually implemented in completely Jetpack Compose to show you that how the MVVM, MVI, and how the data and networking all parts play together with Jetpack Compose. There are other examples and articles on Jetpack Compose as well, so you can also look around those. Now we will focus on the Gmail app, and I will try to move it faster this time, but I will also keep explaining the tiny little things which will come on our way to make things more clear. For the starting point, I have already a Gmail package. In that I have an email model, and I have some utils like one util is generate emails list. So this actually generates a random list of emails, and then this is random color. We will see that how we are using that, and so I will start from adding a new activity, empty activity. So yeah, so I will go to gallery and add a new compose activity. So let's call it Gmail demo activity. Yeah, Gmail. So yeah, this is our activity. Let's make it a launcher so that we can test it more easily. So I have removed it from here and added it here. So this is now our launcher activity. So the idea is that we are going to create this thing. So this is a simple screen, and we are going to create this. So the way Jetpack Compose UI works is that either we come from top to bottom, or we come from bottom to top. So I like the bottom to top approach more. So bottom to top means that we will create every tiny little view first, then we will arrange all those small views together and create a bigger part of the screen. So I will initially focus on this one part of the screen, like I will have to create first this one email item. So let's start from there. I'm going to delete all this, and So I have composable and fun email item view. So yeah, this will be receiving an email model. So okay, so in the main activity, let's create a simple email equal to email model. Let's pick it up from email demo. Okay, let's pick it from Gmail demo. This is the one example of email model. Oh yeah. So we are passing this email item view in. So yeah, now this method will be responsible for creating one single email item view. Now we can see that we have sender, then we have uh, title, then we have description. So these are all in vertically aligned. So let's make a column, and modifier is all about fill maximum width. So fill max width, because for the height I want to make it and by default horizontal arrangement is at the start, so we don't need to change that. And then we will have to first call email sender view, and then we will have to call email um, subject view, and we have, so let me add this item, the email subject view, and then we have email summary. So I am intentionally adding view in each function to differentiate that this is a composable and view, and this is a normal function. So let's create all these, and we have, remember that these all need to be composables. So email sender view is first, and then we have email subject view, and then we have email summary, so this is the actual column. So now we will fill each one by one. So summary has a sender has a icon, then we have a title, then we have a date. So this is whole row. Row is like horizontal layout, so let's create a row first, and again this is a lot similar to column. Instead only difference is that column is vertical, row is horizontal. So let's first focus on that what will be the alignment modifier. So modifier is all about maximum width, because we need it, and then we have another alignment. So we have vertical alignment, vertical gravity, so we can actually make it like, you know, center or maybe top. So focus on top vertical. So yeah, so this is top vertical. So now we need three things. Number one, icon. So this is icon, and for that we need icon. So let's simply ahead and go with the vector icon. So I think there would be some important icon. So yeah, this level important. Okay, so this is level important icon. So I will say that so icon equal to, so now I have a vector icon, so I will call the vector resource and I will simply give the ID like we do from get resources, target travel and all that. So other double dot important, so this is icon. So let's make it colorful. Tint equal to color 0x, so we need something like yellow. So FF, yeah, you can pick it from here. This is good. And for the size, we don't have any size or something like that. Again, we will be using the modifier for sizing. So preferred size, height or preferred size or width. So size is like for the both width and height. So this is like 10.2. We'll see how big or small it is. So this is icon. Then we have a text. Okay, so this is, let's Android weekly, haha, and style is text style. So color is color dot black. Yeah, black, and weight is font weight dot bold. So we have bold, and size is like 15 sp. So yeah, we have similar extension function just like TP. So this is our sender, and this is our date. So it's like this is 16 July 16. So again this is a little light semi-bold, and this is 13. So now when we run the application, one thing we'll focus on it later. Let's run the application first. Okay, so you can see that our icon is very small, and our date is not on the right side of the screen, so we will have to fix those. So let's make the icon 30 dp, and our text is also small, so let's make this 18, and let's make this 16, and for this one to be aligned totally offside, uh, let's assign the whole space to text. So modifier again, modifier dot weight 1s. So this will fill out the whole space, the sender name actually, but this will fill out the whole space, and the rest of the space will be taken by the July 16th date. So yeah, another thing is that we don't have any padding here, so let's add the padding. So simply we can add the padding in parent. So dot padding, then dot dp. Good. So see, now this is taken there, and I think this should be like that. So like so this is our sender, and icon and text are little mix up, so let's align them all vertical. Center vertical. This will make a good view. So now let's come to the subject view. For the subject we have simply a text. So let's make that text. Simply copy it from here. So yeah, this is Android weekly issue number 123. So yeah, this is darker actually, and this is semi-bold. This size is, let's make normal. So this is subject view, and then we have another text view, but only difference is that we have a tar button. So let's add a tar icon, vector asset, and we have tar. Yeah, tar. So yeah, again horizontally means row. So first we have a text. So this is a text, and let's copy something. Yeah, this is a big text, and okay, this is a big text, and we want to fill this whole text. Modifier dot fill weight. Sorry, weight one. Actually, row should fill the whole space. So modifier dot fill maximum width. Okay, and alignment should be gravity. Vertical gravity should be center. Okay, and this will take the whole space. The remaining space will be taken by icon. Simply copy it, and this is our star icon. Yeah, okay. So now when we run it, we will actually see our first email item. So okay, So this is our text, but you can see that there are a lot of stuff and a lot of lines, and star is getting very weird. So you only focus on summary view. So in style, uh, we have max lines 1, and we want to ellipsize that. So we have overflow and text overflow dot ellipsis. So this will add 3 dots in the end, and let's use the default color from the material design theme, and I think rest are pretty good. So see, we have now our email view. Subject is bold. So yeah, subject is bold and all that. Oh yeah, there is also a very good approach, a very good component, spacer. It's used to add spacing between two elements. So for example, I want to add a space between this icon and the title, so I can easily add spacer, and I will tell that what kind of space I need. So I will add spacer by padding. So whether I need it from all sides or whether I need from start. So let's say I said dot 5 dot 5. So this will add a tiny 5 dp space between icon and title, and rest of is good, I think. So the only thing we are left is icon avatar. So now these all are in vertical, so this is our whole column, and now we want to add it in front of it. So I think this will be good fit for our row. So email center view is using a column, and now we will use a row here, and we will email avatar view, and then we will use this column. Okay, so again this will use fill maximum width, and this will be at first. Also email avatar view, so let's clear that method. Composable email avatar view. Okay, so now we actually need a box. We actually need a circle with a letter. Okay, so we have a component box which can give us shapes, and we can add any children inside it. So we for now want a text. This is our text, and this is only A. Color is white, and bold. Yeah, not bold, but okay. And it's 16. Now box. So box will have a size of box will have a background color of, again we can assign any color like color dot white, color dot yellow. And we have a gravity that how this will all be. And we have our gravity. It's like content, where content will be placed. So we want it center, and then we have size. So modifier, and we can set the preferred size like 40 dp. Yeah. Finally, we have shape. There are plenty of shapes. Circle shape is good for us. So yeah. So now we have a avatar with a letter inside it, and then we have column. We only need to decide that how these both elements are aligned. So both are avatar is on top, so both are on top. So let's set vertical alignment. So alignment dot center top. Yeah. So this is top, and for this row we have to fill this whole row. So it's modifier dot fill max width, because height is getting wrap content. So now when we run it, so yeah, oops, we have added a new method, so we will have to run it from 0 instead of apply changes. So yeah, this is our element. You can see that there is not padding on this side, so we actually applied padding here. So let's add padding. Yeah. So this will make it all smooth now, and all consistent. Okay. Again, there is very little space between avatar and column, so we can similarly use spacer. Just pick it up from here, and yeah, a little more space, 10 dB. So this will add space between avatar view and our email view. See, we have our space now. Okay. So you probably noticing that these are a little, not exactly same. So yeah, this is our email. So now let's make it whole. Like we haven't used this one. We haven't used any data at all. So let's put it everywhere. So in avatar view, we need to add sender. Okay. So email the sender, and in sender view we need to add whether it's important, and what is the sender's name, and when the email was received. Okay, and in subject we need to send the subject, and in summary we need to send summary, and whether it is starred or not. So now we have let's fill the parameters and use them actually. So we have sender, so we can simply go ahead and zero dot question. Okay, so yeah, also I created a method which generates a random color. So this was for this, so let's call that generate random color. So this will return a random color, and this will add the letter inside it. So yeah, it is done. And now let's focus on sender. So in sender, important, so you can see that if uh, this is important, then add the icon, otherwise there is no need for icon, you know. So you can actually mix your logic with your UI like this. So this is our sender, so instead of this hardcore, and this is our that. We should use beta date format, but this is for demo purpose. So yeah, so sorry, we have sender view. Now similarly we can apply it to subject, and we can simply go ahead and replace this, and similarly we can add these parameters in summary, and this is our summary. Yeah, and whether it is starred or not. So again, this time we don't have any visibility, but we can simply, if it's starred, then it's yellow, else is color dot light gray. So uh, yeah, that's how it's done, you know. So we have now a dynamic email which responds to the data. So you saw that how bottom to top approach was implemented, and how we actually managed to create a single element view one by one, and then we actually might see this is a simple item. Now let's create a screen, and so at composable, now we have email item. So let's create email list, and this will ask for email list, and list of email. So yeah, this was our list, and there are multiple ways, but if you want to use something like circular view, vertically circular view, then we have lazy column view. So lazy column ask for the list, so this is list, and it will inside view. So the inside method is sort of unbind listener. So I want to add email item here. So this is the list, and each call is unbind listener, and we can simply call this in our set content. We need data, so I have created a dummy method of generating dummy emails. So we call that generate email list. So now when we run the application, we will actually see a list. So here we have a list. You can see that some items are starred and some items are not important. So every email item is responding accordingly. So this is your basic email list, and this is how you work on Jetpack Compose. Finally, I would like to thank you all for listening this. Thank you, John. Thank you, Twiki, for providing me the opportunity to share my experience at 360 Android Dev Conference. And please follow me on Twitter at Wajahat Karim. And I also making some YouTube videos and some my own talks so on my YouTube channel. So please subscribe there as well. And I have a newsletter which are bits and bytes, and you can subscribe to that as well. So thank you again, and it was very nice pleasure to, although if it wasn't a COVID-19 situation, then it would be a person to person experience, and that would be a whole another game. But again, running this online is also a good opportunity. So thank you everyone, thank you for attending. I hope you enjoyed my session. Bye bye.